Hello, today is the 9th of March. This is the 11th episode of my Southward Progress Report series. It is very, very late into the month to be making one of these. I have been a little bit sidetracked because Capcom decided to release Resident Evil Requiem, and I've been playing that. Pretty sick, to be honest. So that's why I've been lazy. Um, so, in today's episode, I will be covering the changes that were made during the month of February, plus a few changes that were made in the time that it has been in this month. All of those changes are art related. In terms of coding, the only coding I've done is UI related as I've been adjusting the art. But yeah, I completely just have not done any more stuff relating to like limbs and stuff, like I said I would. Sorry. Um, yeah, no, but the UI is looking super, super good. So let me take you on a journey through the new Southward UI. So we'll start by adding a player by clicking the Add Player button. Bam! This menu is done. And we also have character art. So we'll start up here with our like creating character. Let's give him a name. Bob, Bobby. We've got this button here, which switches between the family name and the church name. So if we want to give him a church name, we have that option as well. But we'll stick with the family name. The species, so we've got pictures for every single species in the game. So this is the lichen, which is basically just the human character in this fantasy world. We've got elves, hell yeah. Dwarf, hell yeah. Then we got the furry species. We've got rabbit, hell yeah. Falcon, hell yeah. This one's my favorite. Actually, this one's my second favorite because the bat is my favorite. Look at this guy. Bam. Phenomenal. We'll go with Falcon for this demonstration because I feel like it. We've got all of the little pictures for the like different levels. I think that was in the last episode, actually. We'll give this guy a build. We'll give him 5 health, 2 endurance, no mana, he doesn't need magic, 5 stability, 2 agility. He doesn't need Riz or Intimidation. We'll give this guy 10 strength, he's a strong boy, 5 dexterity, 2 skill, and he doesn't need magic. So now we have the weapon selector. We've got this cool little thing. Monique designed it. I love it. We'll give him a mace. We'll give him a shield. And he doesn't need anything in his offhand. We'll give him some armor. Give him the padded set. Because I feel like it. But yeah, basically I'll just take you through every single menu in the game and show off what's been like changed about them. So we click create. Bam! Here's our little guy. He's got a headshot in the portrait. So fucking good, dude. I'm so happy. The enemies don't have pictures yet. They still use the thick Minecraft chicken. But yeah. So we'll select this guy and we can go through the different menus. First menu is the character menu. This shows you like all of your stats, pretty much all of your stats. Yeah, we've got all of his limbs, which is going off the edge of the screen. Oof, that should probably be fixed. um, yeah, we've got his like health, stamina, mana, current out of total max. Equip load, he's a bit clumsy at the moment, that's unfortunate. He's carrying too much weight. All of his defense for the different damage types, all of his absorption for the different damage types, same with resistance and absorption for the status effects. We've got his 3 weapons here. He's unarmed in his like offhand weapon, but he's got a mace and a medium shield here. Yeah, so we've got this like I think I spoke a little bit about this in the last episode, but we've got like the wood with the page on top of it for the sort of like vibe of everything with the UI. Um, I love it a lot. I'm super happy with the game, with the way the game is looking. We've got the inventory screen. So if we want to add items, there's a glitch, and I haven't like looked into it yet, so I don't know what's causing the glitch. But when you first open the inventory menu, this drop down, which is supposed to contain every item in the game, doesn't. you need to switch away and then switch back, and then it has it. So I don't know what is causing that. It's probably super simple. I just need to look into it, but I haven't looked into it. We'll give this guy a bandage and we'll give him a health potion. And then you can select these in the inventory and press the transfer button to chuck it across into the backpack. And then if I want to swap these two, have the health potion in the backpack and the bandage out, I just select them both and press transfer. Bam. Phenomenal. Let's bring the health potion back out. Yeah. Pretty sick. We got the weapon selection thing. Like, let's say I don't want to give him a mace. I want to give him a dumb club. I can select the mace and then swap that. Now he has the dumb club. And now the mace is on the ground, so I can select it from the ground. I want to pick it back up. I select the dumb club and I pick up the mace. Phenomenal. Next we have the weapons menu. This is where you look at your weapons. So we want to look at the medium shield. We select the medium shield. This is all of the medium shield stats. We want to look at the mace. We select the mace. We want to upgrade the mace. We set max level mace, everything level 5. Hit apply. Cool. These are the stats for that. Yeah, it's got damage types, attack, damage, and guard, stat effects, build and guard, all the different stuff. And then we go to the level up menu. There's no portrait here because it wouldn't fit on the screen, so you don't get to see your character while you're leveling up. Big sad. You select what you want, and it shows what it was before and then what it's going to be after it's been adjusted. I want to give him mana. If there's one thing I would change about this menu, I do like some color related stuff. So we can see here that like let's look at wind. Wind before 102, after 102. Whereas moonlight, that's actually been increased, but you can't you have to actually look at everything. There needs to be some sort of way to demonstrate that number has changed. Because at the moment the stuff in the adjusted looks exactly the same as the stuff in the current, and you can't see that it's changed. That's kind of annoying. So I think the next thing I want to do in relation to that is just make it obvious which numbers have changed. Probably do that through color. Like it's green if it's higher and it's red if it's lower. But the only way you can lower a stat is by lowering it. There's nothing that gets lowered by leveling up, if that makes sense. So yeah, so this is basically what every single menu looks like now. Yeah, the main changes, I guess, in terms of the art was getting the different species pictures. I'm super happy with the way all of these look. They're great. Thank you, Monique. She's the artist who made all of this art that you're seeing in the game, by the way. Yeah. So now to talk about what is going to be done next. um, we Well, from the art department, we obviously are now ready to move on to pictures of enemies. Because at the moment we don't have any pictures of enemies. We just have the thick chicken picture. We could do alternate sex versions of the player species, because at the moment we just have one or the other. We have a male lichen and a female elf. That's all we have. So we could you know, switch that around, have alternate sex versions. So you can pick if you want a female lichen or a male lichen, a male elf or a female elf. For role play. Um, yeah. So more pictures of player characters to get the diversity up. More. We need pictures for each of the enemies that are bigger. Blah, 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 blah. We need pictures of the enemies that are going to be in the game. That's all of the art related stuff. Oh yeah, we're also thinking of including a dice roller. So there's you click on something in the game and it rolls a dice, because obviously this game takes dice rolls because it's a TTRPG companion program, and you roll dice in this one. There are TTRPGs that don't need dice. This one does. So having a dice roller in the program, so you don't actually need to own physical dice or use an external source like looking up dice roller on Google or whatever in a separate tab, that'd be fucking annoying. So yeah, having a dice roller in the game, super cool. That's easy. You just randomly generate a number between 1 and 20, but obviously I'm gonna get Monique to like do a little animation for it, so it'll be pretty sick. Uh, um, and then yeah, obviously the thing that I've been mentioning for like the past 3 episodes that I just have not done because I've been too lazy and too focused on the art is finally getting limbs to work. So at the moment, limbs are not fully working. If I go into the inventory menu and I select the offhand, that just doesn't work. That's glitched. It causes an error. If I select a different hand, you see it works. I select that, it doesn't work. I press that, it swapped to the right hand. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the offhand isn't working at the moment because of the way I'm switching limbs around. If I were to cut off someone's arm, they wouldn't drop their weapon because that's just that functionality is just not in the game yet. Um, so yeah, basically I'm gonna let me talk for a little bit about how I want that to work. So you have 3 weapons. You have your right hand weapon, your left hand weapon, and your offhand weapon. What does that mean? Because you only have 2 hands, a right hand and a left hand. What is the offhand weapon? So the idea is that that's a weapon that you have on your back, and you can switch between that weapon into either of your 2 hands. So this character has the dumb club in their right hand and the medium shield in their left hand, and they have nothing in their offhand, so there's nothing on their back. I want to be able to make it so that if you have a third weapon on your back, you don't have access to that during combat unless you switch one of the weapons that is in your hand out for that weapon that's on your back. Um, yeah. And then if you get your, right arm cut off, the weapon that's in your, or if your right hand gets crippled, which you'll drop the weapon in that hand because it's crippled. You like have don't have control over it, and then you get healed, and so your right arm heals back up, but now it's empty because you dropped your weapon. You can then grab the weapon that's on your back and bring that into your right hand. If you're not able to pick up the weapon that you dropped because you like ran away or something, you know, like you've got like a sword in your right hand and you have like an axe on your back. Your right arm gets crippled, so you drop your sword. You then run away back to like your healer, and your healer heals your right arm up, and then you grab the axe off your back, so you have a weapon. And then you can go back over to where you dropped your sword to pick your sword back up. That's just an example. If your right arm gets cut off, then it's gone. In Southward, if you lose a limb, it's gone. That's pretty harsh. Losing limbs actually happens a lot. There's a lot of things that do slicing damage. Slicing damage is the damage type that's required to cut off limbs. There's a lot of that in the game. So I'm definitely thinking about implementing ways to get prosthetic limbs. I'm thinking magical prosthetic limbs is probably going to be the big one. It also is like the easiest because obviously prosthetic limbs didn't really like exist in a sort of medieval period that this fantasy world is aiming for. We don't have like mechanical stuff or electrical stuff. We don't have robots. We don't have like clockwork stuff in this fantasy world. Um, so I think magical prosthetic limbs, we could have a spell that gives someone a prosthetic limb in the game. I think that'd be pretty sick. So yeah, um, I think I've covered everything. I've covered the changes that were made, which is all the UI stuff, which is super. Well, the UI stuff was already made by Monique. I've just finished implementing it into the game. So now the game looks like this, which I think looks super, super cool. I'm super happy with the way this looks. We've got the character pieces. Awesome. Go to add player. We can look at them all again because I love them so much. Lycan, which is basically human but with some lore stuff. That's why they're named differently. Elves, which are just your classical elves. Dwarves, classical dwarves. They love to dig in the dirt. Rabbits, they're the fastest, most agile species. Falcon, they can fly. Bat, they can also fly, but they're slightly more nimble and faster, whereas falcons are a bit more sturdy and can take some hits. All the different species have different stats that make them unique. Lycan have the highest stamina, which is based on the idea that humans have the highest stamina of the animal kingdom, because we sweat. Little known fact. There you go. Um, yeah. No, I think that's everything. Spoke about the changes I made. Spoke about the changes that I want to make, which is limbs, which I've been talking about doing for a very, very long time. Also more art changes as we get more pictures of stuff to put in the game. Um, but yeah, it's already the 9th of this month, so it's already been a little bit into it. Hopefully I can pick up the pace. Although actually I'm going on a holiday, a little mini holiday, halfway through this month as well. That'll take like a week of my time. So yeah, I need to pick up the pace. I need to get back into it. I was doing really, really well in 2025, and it feels like 2026 has been a bit slow on the uptake. So I need to work on that. But yeah, I think that's everything I want to cover. Monique made a pretty little picture that has all of the characters standing next to each other. Um, I'm gonna put that up on screen now. The characters in this like lineup are also like correct height compared to each other. So you can see the dwarf is a little dwarf, obviously. I think the tallest species is like the falcon, and then yeah, like all of the like heights are accurate in this picture, and it also just looks really good. Like it's a pretty picture. Yeah. So thank you for watching. I will see you next month.